Hello everyone, I am Kurz, this is Low Mana, and we've been somewhat silent lately on all of the gossip surrounding Effie Adawe and the upcoming Hero 24. I'd like to say this was intentional, but real life intervenes sometimes. Anyway, we've just had this tweet go up from Blizzard a few hours ago, which follows on perfectly from the original Effie reveal and the airport shenanigans of last week. It's pretty clear she's building something, so let's have a look into what it could be. Purportedly released as an image on Effie's personal Holovid channel, social media continues to evolve even in the Overwatch universe it seems. All we see at a glance is a shopping list of parts with the phrase, "time to get to work." There's more to a lot of the items on this list than meets the eye however. First up on her list is an OR-15 chassis. For anyone living under a rock, the OR-15s are the droids that seem to have been built as peacekeeping units for Numbani, and that we saw smashed into scrap metal on the recent PTR update. This all linked back nicely with the original blog reveal of Effie, where she stated her parents were going to take her on a plane for the first time, to go somewhere and celebrate her winning the Adawe Foundation's Genius Grant. Whatever occurred at the airport presumably put paid to those plans. She was there to photograph the aftermath at the very least, and this led to Effie stepping up her plans to build something that can keep us safe. At the time I wondered, safe from what, given how seemingly peaceful Numbani is, but there's a lingering threat over it, mentioned only in passing at various panels and interviews with Blizzard devs. That all leads us to this scrap of paper, and I'd hazard a guess that at the least it will make obtaining an OR-15 chassis relatively easy. Hopefully it doesn't need to be 100% intact, but if it does, well, Effie seems like a resourceful kid. Next up is the most mysterious object on the list, a Branford arm. Please correct me if you know different, but I've not heard of anything Branford in the 2 years plus that Overwatch has been around. The obvious conclusion is that this would be an upgrade, or the weaponry that Effie intends to equip her creation with, and a glance at the ruined OR-15s did show that they A, had asymmetrical arms, and B, all the right arms seemed to be missing. With the city so intrinsically linked to the legend of Doomfist, this perhaps comes as no surprise, but I'd love to know your thoughts on this enigmatic item. Fusion Driver is next, which to be fair is largely unimportant. Any creation she cooks up is going to need a power source, and fusion would seem to be rather fitting. We already know it's an established technology in the Overwatch world after all. Check the mecha cannons for example. What follows is far more interesting though. A miniature Tobelstein Reactor. While it's a cute touch that Effie's misspelt the name of the Russian tech, the fact she wants one at all is remarkable. Tobelstein reactors, as far as we know, are involved in the graviton technology that Zarya uses in her particle cannon, and as we know Volskaya Industries, or at least Volskaya, is not averse to acquiring tech from the very Omnics they're fighting in the second Omnic crisis. The lingering link on Sombra's web between Numbani and Volskaya remains unsolved, but for Effie to fall into the middle of that equation could be both amazing for the story, but extremely dangerous for the young inventor. If the fusion reactor is meant to power general operation, could the Tobelstein reactor be used to power weaponry or defensive systems? Of the last three items, I'm going to tackle two together. Paint and Lucio-Os. While Lucio-Os seem to be Effie's cereal of choice, there's what I guess to be a mostly empty box lying on the desk at the top of the pick after all. It gives us a bit of insight into Effie the girl. Lucio is a huge music star in the Overwatch world, and she seems to be a huge fan of his. The paint scheme she's picked for her creation seem to mirror this, as they're very much in line with his own colour palette. It's worth mentioning for the most part, they're also the colours of Numbani, with only red being notably absent. Effie herself even wears similar shades. Finally, we have the Axiom vocal processor. All we really know about Axiom is that they're global, we've seen them in both Numbani and Sydney, and their motto is building the future. It now seems however that they're involved in robotics on some level, and Effie has picked up one of their vocal processors, presumably this thing up here that looks a lot like a DIMM we have in our computers now. List aside, there are three other nuggets of interest on this pick that warrant attention. First up, the post-it note paperclip to her shopping list. Logically this is a doodle of her upcoming creation, but it doesn't line up very well with any other image I've seen before. Again, correct me if I'm wrong here. It bears a slight similarity with the OR-15s, but the other robots we see in Numbani posters look very different. This guy has horns of sort, but they're not curved like Effie's design. Does it remind you of anyone? Next up is the device on her little holopad. Credit goes to AG Dynamics on Reddit for noticing this, but these bear a passing resemblance to both the African talking drum in reality, which is a nice little culture reference, and more pertinently to the drum-shaped objects lying scattered around the wreckages of the OR-15s in the airport. These would therefore seem to be integral to the robot's operation, but in what capacity? I've always figured any Numbani peacekeeping would be entirely non-lethal, given the outlook of the city, so perhaps these are a means of disabling any criminals or threats to the people. Finally, we have what looks like the sort of thing I'd doodle while I was on the phone to someone at work. I'd credit Effie with more intelligence than that though. Some folks have said it looks like an upside down Vishkar logo, but that doesn't fit for me. There'd be too much crammed into a single plotline, and she's made no mention of hardlight tech. What it does bring me back to is this guy. Check out the base of his ear horn things. That pattern look familiar at all? One final thought on this guy. I don't like the idea that he's what Effie is building. From what Michael Chu said last week, these articles, tweets, blogs are all written and released as if they're happening right now in the Overwatch universe, so Effie is in theory building her creation as I'm writing and reading this. Therefore I expect whatever she comes up with to be something we've not yet seen in any media anywhere, including this guy. I hope I'm right here. The surprise of the reveal would be worth the wait. If you enjoyed this episode, please let us know in the comment section below. Did I miss anything on Effie's shopping list that I should have covered? Am I right that her creation will be entirely new to us? And how about that Tobelstein Reactor? Let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button if you like this episode, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the little bell for notifications on our latest content. We'll be back to a more regular video soon, but until next time, I've been Kurz, thanks for watching.